So you found yourself in a relationship with someone who is not really choosing you, and you either walk away from them or they walk away from you, and you're devastated. You feel like you've tried so hard to get them to choose you, and it's your whole self-worth is wrapped around this. If this really resonates, then this video is for you. If you don't know me, my name is Deborah. I'm a transformational healer and intuitive coach. And I've done a few videos on this, and I really want to talk about how to heal from this, how to transform yourself, how to feel whole and complete, and to never have to go through this again or this situationship again. Because that's what it is. When you're with someone and you have these feelings for them and you have this chemistry and you feel like they're the person and they're still not choosing you, then there's some things happening here that you might want to take a look at. So it's usually not about the actual person, it's the wounds that have been activated. So I know in my case, I had a lot of childhood wounds, and I chose someone who was activating those wounds. It felt very familiar. And on a subconscious level, it's like we're trying to get complete with our childhood or even adulthood. It depends on what's happened in your life. And so it's much driven by our subconscious mind. So these wounds are getting activated. So the universe, which we are the universe, and everyone is reflecting to us what we are thinking and feeling about ourselves. So if you are finding yourself in a situation like that and you're suffering because of the pain of not being chosen, it's because of those wounds, and or at least one reason. And the things that they are showing you what you need to be free from. So how do you get out of this? How do you heal? I just did a meditation activation on releasing the pain of not being chosen and really choosing yourself. And a lot of people, it sounds very cliche. A lot of people say, oh, well, choose yourself, love yourself. How do you do that? Basically, when you start to do the release work, you set your intention. What is it that you want? What kind of relationship do you want? And really be clear with the universe, the type of partnership that you want. And then you start to release everything that's in the way, all of your subconscious thoughts and feelings about yourself, about that person that wasn't choosing you, and really start to release those thoughts and feelings. And how do you do that? You're releasing the emotion behind those thoughts and feelings. And those thoughts and feelings are just sounds, sensations, and images. Thoughts are just sounds, sensations, and images, and you are really releasing, letting them have power over you. Because the reason why you find yourself in a situation like this, where someone that you have all these feelings for is not choosing you, you find yourself trying to beg them basically to choose you, and you wrap your whole self-worth around that. And once you can see that those thoughts are driving you to feel this way and to try to beg for love from someone else when you are the love that you are, that can still stay intellectual until you actually experience it. And so how do you experience the fullness, the completeness that you are? First, you release those thoughts and feelings, and then you start rewriting the script. You start writing what it is that you want and get very specific. Visualize what it feels like to be loved and loving and being chosen. And it's training your nervous system, because actually, when we are training our nervous system and we're releasing the thoughts that we feel unworthy and we're replacing them with feelings of being worthy, feelings of wholeness and completeness and fullness and love, we're convincing the subconscious mind of something that it doesn't believe. And the funny cosmic joke is that our beingness, which is what I did in the activation meditation, is to go into our beingness, which is our true self, our true nature, which is perfect health, perfect love, perfect wealth. And you tune into that energy, and then you release, you take a step back from your thoughts. You're taking a little vacation from your thoughts and detaching to where you're like, I see these thoughts now, I can release them. And then you start to replace them with new thoughts. So you're training your body, your nervous system to believe something that maybe you didn't believe for so many years because of the way you were treated as a child or whatever was going on, you made up your mind at some point that you believed that you were not worthy or you were not chosen or you were not worthy of love or good enough. And so sometimes we have to do this kind of work to retrain our nervous system. But at the same time, we're tuning into that perfection that we are. And once you experience that perfection, that energy that runs the universe, including you, then you realize, oh my God, how could I ever not feel worthy? How can I ever not feel good enough or complete? It's just the mind making you feel this way about yourself. And you're coming from a huge sense of lack. And when you're coming from a sense of lack, that's going to be reflected back. So someone is going to breadcrumb you and isn't going to be the full package because you are doing that to yourself. And everyone is you pushed out. So it's you breadcrumbing yourself through that person. And so the more that you release those thoughts and replace them with the thoughts of the abundance that you are, of love, health, and wealth, then every shall be added unto you. You will attract the people, the friendships, the partnerships. It will harmonize the relationships you already have. And the ones that are not meant to stay in your life will go. And sometimes even the people that are breadcrumbing you may show up differently. That's how powerful we are. Doesn't mean it's not a guarantee that that will happen, but I've seen it happen where when we shift, everything else around us shifts. So it's very similar to Joe Dispenza and Eckhart Tolle. Joe Dispenza has such a great system of transforming yourself into this new version that is disease free, that is suffering free, where you aren't entertaining these thoughts about yourself, that you are feeling that completeness and fullness and happiness even before anything shows up in the 3D. And that's what he talks about in his retreats. And it's fascinating because it really is true that when you are fully convinced that of your fullness and abundance of that you truly are, which is the beingness that you are, everything becomes magical. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have challenges in your life, but you will be able to handle them and you won't be coming from that sense of lack and that energy of heartbreak and hurt and feeling that sense of lack, not having the love or not having the wealth or any of that, because you're just hypnotized by your mind. You're letting your mind, you're letting your stories run your life from memories that are not even happening anymore. And I know that sounds very simple. It's not always so easy when we've gone through incredible trauma. But again, it still boils down to identifying with this character that we're playing. And when we can take a step back and see that we are really holding on to this identification with this body mind, with this, especially the mind, then we can say, oh, wow, I can redesign my life. I can release, I can rewrite, and then I receive what I already am. Basically, I am tuning in and merging with who I really am, which is the beingness, which is the God inside of you. And it is so amazing that we ignore it. We ignore this perfection that's within us that can heal us with any illness. It can heal us with any problem. It's incredible, but we ignore it. And so it's the way I do it with my groups and clients is I have people set the intention and then what is in the way for that intention to have the perfect partner, to have the perfect love life, to have the wealth, the financial freedom, the health. What's in the way? And that's what you're releasing. You're releasing all the no's, all the negative limitations, the limiting beliefs. You're identifying them and you're releasing them. And then you start to write a new script. And that's where it gets fun. You write a new script and then you become the version of you that already has it. And then you watch the magic happen. So that's how you can get out of being in a situation where feel like you're not chosen and you're suffering because of it. I went through this myself, and I I had that subconscious mantra running the show of my life, and it was running in the background because of beliefs that I had adopted when I was younger, where I said, I guess I must not be important, I must not be lovable, I must not be chosen. So there's no blaming anyone. It's just me having these limiting beliefs. And once you start releasing them, everything starts to shift in your life. So I hope this video helped you. If you would like to join my community, I have a private Facebook group, I have a membership, and I also do one-on-ones privately. So everything is in the description, and I hope you join, and I hope you have a great day.